Hey, I'm gonna be making a deck profile. I had a guy ask for it, so I thought I might as well make one. Um, yeah, it's my Dragon Link deck profile. I've been liking the deck. It's pretty fun. Uh, I have a lot of faith in this deck. I think this deck is very good. Even after LP got banned and Striker Dragon to 1, I still feel like this deck is pretty strong. Has a strong place in Tier 1, and is looking pretty good going to the next format. So, I'll start with the main deck. Um, for the normal summons, we have 3 safer. We've done here. 3 safer, one black metal and one chamber. I want the 5 normal summons. I'm playing 40 cards in my main deck, so I want to keep it uh, like tight so I can see my side cards, see my most powerful cards whenever I need them. And yeah, safer is probably the best one. For like going as far as possible, but Black Metal is pretty good into draw. He's probably the best one into draw, and Chamber's not bad as a normal summon. Even though it's not combo, it still gets you one interruption. Which can be pretty good into stuff like draw, because you can normal summon this first, add your tidying, and then if you get drawed after that, you still have at least one interruption. So yeah, moving on from the normal summons, we have the Rocket package, pay 2 Tracer, 2 Synchron, 1 Recharger, and 1 Absolrauta. Um, a lot of people are playing 3 Tracer recently. I recently cut mine down to 2. I tried to just make more space for non-engine, going second cards, and things like that. I just think, like, you need to see going second cards to win the game, and yeah, I need to find some space. And Tracer's probably like the most cuttable thing. He's still very accessible with Ravine. You have quick launch. If you draw Abserato, you can discard him from something like Chaos Space or a discard off Ravine, and you can also add it with Safer by sending a level 4. So I think down at 2 is pretty good, and it also makes so you are less likely to draw multiples. Um, For the Chaos Space targets, we have Black Dragon, White Dragon, and Levianeer. Um, Levianeer is just very powerful. He can help you break boards going second. Um, Levianeer is just Levianeer. You rip a card from their hand going first. He does everything you need. Levianeer is really good. You should try and search this off of dumping him with Ravine and adding him back off of Safearts. And yeah, that's just Levy. And White and Black, these guys are crazy. With these guys, like, it's really good because you can hold your normal summon and play without using it. So they're like through Nibiru, you still have your normal summon, so you can also have like a Synchron or a Chamber, add whatever you need, and you can keep doing a lot with these guys. I just play around a lot of hand traps, chain block. It's just really good overall. Very crazy. You can add it also safer as well. I tend not to because it kind of plays more into you getting ashed. Um, but yeah, these guys are standard baby dragons. And then generic extenders, the red MD, search off of the black metal. And I'm playing 2 Noctowl. Again, a lot of people are playing 3, but I wanted to cut room for more going second cards and non-engine. So yeah, Noctowl's like the most cuttable. Drawing multiples of him isn't good, and if you draw him without a normal summon, he can be like a brick, but he's still very good. Large chain block as well. Yeah, and he's probably one of the best extenders because when he summons himself after he goes and gets sent to the grave as a link material, he draws 1, which is really good because he replaces himself. Which is really common with all the Dragon Link cards that they kind of replace themselves after they're used. Um, Now onto the non-engine, onto the hand traps. I'm playing the 3 Gamma and 1 Driver. Um, Originally I wasn't playing this because it doesn't really work well with Seal. Um, you kind of want a hand trap to accompany Seal. But the reason why I'm playing this is I wanted like a really impactful hand trap going second, and that's what Gamma does. Gamma's a light, so it's pretty good to min off of Chaos Ruler because it gets more lights in your grave to use for your Black Dragon, to banish from Chaos Space, to banish for Levy. I guess the driver as the brick. Always see him in your hand. Um, but yeah, that's just Gamma. He's just so good going second. I think if you need a hand trap to play and you want something impactful, I think Gamma is probably your best choice. He's super generic. Yeah, Gamma's great. Protects Chaos Space as well and safe out. And then you play 3 Veiler, a light out of Chaos Ruler. Better than Impam because it's a light. And yeah, it's a tuner also, so a lot of people don't know this. You can normal summon it or summon it off of Hot Red. Well, you can normal summon it and make Hot Red. And you can summon it back off of Hot Red as a tuner from the grave. Good thing to keep a note. And I play 3 Ash, even though it's not a light on dark, it's just the most generic hand trap. You need into Shadows for Shadow Fusion, Disco, and stuff like that. It's really good into Rogue. You could swap this out for like a Nibiru or a light or dark hand trap, but I like Ash. I think it's just so generic. It's probably, you want to play it instead of cutting it. It's field spells, Boot Ravine, Standard. You want to try and keep one after your turn 1 play, because it can really help you in your grind to have one. The Holy Trinity, 3 space. This card's insane. If you see this card, it's really great. Like, especially with the Gamma, it ensures that I resolve this card almost all the time. And if I do get hand trapped on it, I usually take advantage of my opponent with the Gamma, going into free Chaos Ruler. And yeah, this allows you to get. I think you get like 2 or 3 cards in hand. You get one from the draw, and because you put back the Baby Dragon, you get the other one back in hand as follow up or as a discard, or something to send off of safer. So yep, space very very good. Probably the best card in the deck, to be honest. 3 quick launch. It's just quick launch. It's E-Tele at 3. It's not once per turn. It's really good. This is quick launch. Standard, everyone plays it. Everyone knows what it does. And then the 2 Tiding to start off a chamber and for the grand game. And I've been playing recently. I've started playing 3 Rivalry. I think Rivalry is really insane in this deck. You can take advantage of a lot of decks, even if like their main archetype is just one type. You can usually catch them on like some extra deck cards, like if they summon Halki Fibrax and you catch them on that, it can really hurt. So Rivalry's been really good, and cause a lot of my friends play Tri Brigade, and my locals has a lot of decks that lose to this, so I've been playing it and it's been doing really well for me. But if you're going to an event where you're not expecting this card to be good, you can definitely take it out for more going second cards or more engine if you want. But it's been working out really well for me. I recommend everyone to try it, see how you like it. I've been liking it a lot. It's not even that bad going second into decks that it hurts. For the extra, your Link 1s, Striker Pisty. Striker's really good, everyone knows Striker, that's why it's at 1. And Pisty, most of the time you might be going into this as just a Link 1 to trigger your Baby Dragons, or get one engraved that you need. But it can come up where you can use this to help to go for game, by summoning back like a Banished Chaos Ruler to use with your Access or your Boros Sword. 2 Seal, the boss monster of the deck. You can just make this with every single hand. Like, this card is what makes the deck really good, because your opponent just hand traps you, and they're basically hand looping themselves. Because usually, like with Impem and Vader, they're really popular. It plays with the effects on all the bodies, and you just end up going into this after you get hand trapped like 2 or 3 times. And then usually this is pretty good into the current meta. It's really good against Tri. It's good against Virtual World. It's good against a lot of things. And it gives follow-up. It's pretty much LP just as an interruption. Really, really good. The 1 Romulus, Search the Ravine. Quad Borrow, this guy's crazy, into Tri Brigade, into Fantonas, anything that has a big link that usually gets left on the board after turn 1. This guy just becomes Soul Charge. He's really good, really insane. Can also make going into Savage and Chaos Ruler easy. I wouldn't cut him, he's very, very good. Triple Burst, help with Pisty Arrows, and help with trying to make game shots. Very, very good. IP and Unicorn. This kind of just completes the end board now that LP's gone. Like, usually we end up having like a lot of bodies and we just make an IP, and it's something we can make while Dark Locked. And Unicorn, sometimes I go on this without the IP. It's pretty good to like force things out. Like, sometimes everyone has a Zeus on board, and you manage to get like enough bodies on this, like a Link 2 and 1 body, you can just go into this and force out their Zeus, or force out some important back row before you like commit your like big cards, like your main resources. And it just really helps clear interruptions. I'm really liking Unicorn recently. Very, very good. For the Link 4s, I have Access, Boros Sword, Appaloosa. Appaloosa just because you need it for Drytron. You'll probably lose Drytron matchups without this. This card is pretty much needed into Drytron to go in with IP. Boros Sword for game shots and Access Code for game shots. They both have different purposes. This one gives you arrows for Pisty much easier, and this one is kind of like with the Unicorn on board after you do your IP and interrupt them. It's easier to go on with Unicorn, and then you just summon back your Chaos Ruler and go for game with it. And then for the Synchros, Chaos Ruler, this card's carrying the deck. This card's really good. If this card ever gets hit, I think the deck will suffer a lot. It probably still be playable just because Dragons can pretty much play like if this gets hit, Dragon will still be playable, but it'll hurt the deck a lot. This card's really good. Gets you extenders, follow up, fills up your grave. You can hit Chaos Space. You can hit lights. It does everything the deck needs, and it gives you 2 free bodies as well. Savage. It's just Savage. Very easy to make in this deck. Good Omni Negate, and then Hot Red to make with the Chaos Ruler. Onto the side. The side is really dependent on what you expect to see, what event you're going to, your locals, and what you're mostly scared against. But for me, I'm playing 3 Nib. My locals usually has a lot of dragons. Shout out to Gabriel Nets. Yep. Nib's very good into them. It's good for Drytron as well. It's good for like any combo deck like Phantom Knights. Even though a lot of good players can usually play through Nib with those kind of decks. What I mean by play through, it's not like it's going to do nothing. It's pretty much always going to do something if you do it at a good time. Just so that they can like set up like they can have follow up through the Nib and make like 1 or 2 interruptions, which is usually enough to get them to live to the next turn and have another chance with all their follow ups. So Nib's really good into combo decks like that, but against a good player, it's not going to like completely win the game for you just by itself. I'm playing 3 Side Corridor. This is a cool for my locals for Drytron because Drytron's a hard matchup, so I want to be prepared for it. I'm playing 1 Cold Buy and 2 talents in the side. Shout out to Sebek and Tahin for letting me borrow their talents. This card's just insane, siding and going first. Because usually when you get hand trapped, you usually be able to play through it, and you just look at their hand, take out like a powerful card they have that can let them play through your board, or another hand trap, and you keep extending. And it's really good because you can see hand knowledge, and if you somehow can't play through it, you get a draw 2. And Cold Buy because I don't have a third, and Cold Buy can stop draw. Stop Ashes, very good, and also if you don't get hand trapped, it's just a trap that you can set and interrupt your opponent with. So very good. For back row decks, we're playing 3 Twin, 1 Duster, 1 Red Reboot, and the Pancratops, which is kind of just for all decks going second. These Twins could be Lightning Storm if you own it, because Shadow's a lot less popular, Prankard's a lot less popular, so hitting stuff in the standby phase matters less. But I don't own Lightning Storm, so I'm playing Twins. And yeah, but if you do have Lightning Storms, I recommend trying it. Duster, just beat any rogue back row deck. Reboot, beat any rogue back row deck. And Pancratops, beat any combo deck or back row deck going second. This card just busted. Pancratops, you've all had it like summoned against you, and it just feels bad, especially into your board of Seal. Of like Seal Tidying, this card outsits, so try not to get sacked on this, but it happens, and I play it as well because it's just that OP. And yeah, that's the deck profile. Shout out to the DB Grinder for letting me be on his channel in one of the recent games. I hate traps. Playing against Tribe Lyra against King Dark was a very good game. And yeah, I recommend Dragon Link to anyone who likes dragons and wants a deck that can reward you for skill. Yeah. And that's the deck profile. Thank you guys for watching. Have a good one.